What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video. So, I'm going to be talking about some potential names on who I feel should be dethroning Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Now, Rhea Ripley has been very dominant since Mania because she's won the Rumble, she's won at Mania. But the only thing I feel like is only bad with her reign, she's not really defending it as much. But I feel like they're trying to fix that issue by giving her fresh opponents, and stuff like that. But it's always the thing when we see Rhea Ripley defend the championship or is in a match, we know kind of what the outcome is going to be because she's going to end up winning, and 9 out of 10 that's end up what happens. She ends up winning, and the person that she's competing against, or her opponent rather, doesn't really stand a chance in defeating her. So I think that is the main issue with Rhea Ripley being the champion, is they haven't really been building up anybody, it seems like, to be a threat to her in her reign. But I hope they try to do that before she ends up dropping the title, because I feel like she's gonna drop the title at Mania. So we're gonna talk about a couple of names who I feel should dethrone Rhea Ripley, and I'll give you my reasons why and stuff like that. So the first name we got to talk about is Jade Cargill. Now, this one for me personally, I feel like will kind of be rushed only because I would like this before she goes after a championship. I want to see her in other feuds and you build up to like that big moment. You know what I mean? I don't. I do love Jade Cargill. I love what she brings to the table. She's definitely going to be a big star in the WWE. There's no question about that. But I don't want her to get thrown in the title picture right away. We've seen people, get thrown in the title picture, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And the thing is, she's good, but I think she's kind of a little bit of still green in the ring. So I feel like you should not put her in a high profile storyline. You can, but not for the title just yet. I think you build up to that. You have her in feuds with the likes of a Charlotte or a Becky and stuff like that, and have them, kind of be able to help her elevate herself. And then maybe around the summertime, then you could try to put the title on her, because I think at that point she would be ready. But like I said, they're gonna want to try to make her as a big star as possible. So I do think having her win the Women's World Championship isn't out of the realm of possibility. But like I said, she's still a little bit of green, but I still think they probably would try to do something like that and probably put the title on there. But that's the first thing we gotta talk about. The second name we gotta talk about is, she's not these some we got some names here that aren't in the company, but I still feel like it could end up happening. And one of them, I mean, with CM Punk returning, we gotta talk about AJ Lee. I mean, I think a lot of people would love to see AJ Lee back. I think if she were to return at that Rumble, she would probably get the biggest pop of the night easily. She would probably get the biggest pop of the night, or at least one of the biggest pops of the night. And people will be happy to see her back. And if she wins the Rumble, that would just break the internet up, really, if you're going to be honest, because like we've seen what happened with CM Punk. It literally broke the internet and people are still talking about it. It's been still the talking point of the wrestling world over the last week, so, and it's still being considered one of the biggest talking points. And if you have AJ Lee come back, that's gonna instantly break the internet as well. And not only just break the internet, but if she wins the Rumble, that's gonna make it even more talked about. So think about it. If her and Rhea Ripley were to face, I think that would be a great match. I think the thing with Rhea Ripley is something like I say with Brock Lesnar. He has these different opponents, but it seems like he always just has his best matches with the smaller opponents. And we've seen Rhea Ripley have great matches with people like Raquel Rodriguez and stuff like that. But I think if she would have, and she's had some great matches with smaller opponents, and I think AJ Lee would definitely be able to, if she's really ready to come back and she wants to come back, I think this will be a great match for them to do. If we're being honest, like a David versus Goliath type of storyline, I think people can get invested in that. You can have Rhea Ripley, being kind of like the final boss of the women's division. You can have the underdog babyface coming back, and AJ Lee trying to come back and try to prove that she still has it, and she could be at the very top in the women's division still. So I think that would be a great storyline to see play out and growing into WrestleMania next year. So that's another name we had to talk about. The next name we have to talk about, she's not in WWE, but potentially she could be coming back, and that is Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks. Now, this right here, I would love to see happen. I would love to see her come back and win the Rumble, because I feel like when it comes to the four horsewomen, she's somebody that I always would love to see win the Royal Rumble, but just never does. 2022, I actually picked her to win the Royal Rumble, but she didn't. And it sucked because it really sucked the whole aura out of the entire crowd that night. So maybe, and then she, she's been on the Indies, and she's, well, pretty much New Japan and stuff like that. And she's been doing great work. And, she still has some of her friends, in WWE with Bailey, and she's going through the storyline with Damage Control. Maybe you can bring back Sasha Banks and kind of be her ally in this feud or something. There's different scenarios that you could have play out there. And you have some fresh matchups for Sasha Banks. You have her going up against Kyrie in WWE. I think we've seen that in WWE. I'm not too sure, but you have her going up against Raquel. You have her going up against Liv Morgan. You have her going up against Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley. Those are fresh matchups that we haven't really got to see one on one on a pay-per-view or on a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. I think those are some great matches you could have for Sasha Banks coming back. And if you have her win the Rumble and have her face Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship, instantly that's a big money match right there. That's a big money match. People are going to be invested. They're going to be invested in what Rhea Ripley's doing. They're going to be invested in what Sasha Banks doing and what she's going to be doing going into Mania. They're going to be invested in the storyline. They're going to be invested in the promos that these two are going to have back and forth. So you have to think that's going to be a very big marquee match that WWE is going to want to book going into Mania. And me personally, she deserves to headline a main event of WrestleMania. She's worthy of that, and it sucks that she's really never been given that chance or opportunity to do so. And if she were to come back, I think with Triple H being involved and creative, he would definitely be able to put her in a spot like that. She deserves it. So I would love to see her come back at WrestleMania. And we're not WrestleMania, but Royal Rumble, and win the Rumble and go on and face Rhea Ripley and defeat her. The next one we got to talk about is somebody that is in WWE and pretty much being the favorite of going into Rumble and the one to potentially defeat Rhea Ripley, and that being none other than Becky Lynch. They have been building her up this past year, giving her feuds after feuds after feuds after feuds after feuds. Her doing her work in NXT, and you can tell that they're building up her versus Rhea Ripley. A lot of people have been saying that is the match that they're gonna want to go with, and I can understand what a lot of people you guys are saying. WWE wants the biggest match they can put on possible, and Becky Lynch is one of the bigger draws that they have in the women's division. My only problem with that is it's time for them to kind of, you know, get away from just using the four horsewomen in these big storylines all the time. I think this is an opportunity for you to build up, newer stars who haven't really been able to get that spotlight just yet, that really deserve it and really could benefit by it. And Becky Lynch is already a made star. She's done pretty much everything that there is to do in the women's division. She's won the Raw Women's Championship. She's won the NXT Championship. She's won the SmackDown Women's Championship. She's won the Women's Tag Titles. She's won a Royal Rumble. She's pretty much done everything that there is to do in the women's division. So I feel like the way she is now, I'm not saying you're don't do anything with her. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can have her and do other things, but besides being in the title picture, you know what I mean? There's other storylines out there. We've seen what she can do. This is a way. And shout out to Hear These Thoughts. He talks about it all the time. This is why the women's division needs a women's mid card championship. They need a women's mid card championship, and someone like Becky being around that would definitely help elevate the title and the prestige of that championship. This is a great opportunity with how stacked the women's division is to give them a women's mid-card championship and have the women that aren't always in the main event seen in these title pictures have something to fight over and help them elevate. And when they do take the title off of whoever's the mid-card champ, then you can push them up the card and be in the main event scene going after the women's championship or the women's world championship. This is a way to elevate the women, but they're not doing that. And I think this is an opportunity that they're really not taking advantage of, and they should. So that's why I don't think I would be kind of okay with it, but at the same time I wouldn't, because it's just like, we've seen this, we know what's gonna happen. It's just like, it could have went to somebody else. You know what I mean? So that's who I have for that. But the next one is who I personally want to win the defeat Rhea Ripley, and a lot of people might say, well, it doesn't make sense. She's not built up that way. It is what it is. But the person I have is Liv Morgan, and I know a lot of people don't think Liv Morgan has a chance to win. She's more of the dark horse. She's always going to be a dark horse. She's always just going to be overshadowed by all these women. But I think this is a time for her to help to elevate herself. She's been on the sidelines for like the last couple months, and she's been doing different things. She's been training. She's went under through a appearance change. So she's been going through these different things, and I do think when she does come back, she is going to get a big pop coming back. And here's the thing: when you win the Rumble, this is a great way for her to reestablish herself in the women's division and to come back with a new breath of fresh air in the women's division for her. Because the thing is, think about it. Like, if you've really, depending on if you don't want to see it or not, you can't deny the story is there for them to do it. And think about it. Because what happened after post WrestleMania 38? Liv and Rhea, they were tag team partners. They were going after the women's tag team titles. Rhea turned on her, and then she aligned herself with the Judgment Day. Liv has some history, because here's why: she's the only woman that can say they have beaten Rhea Ripley since Rhea has joined the Judgment Day. No woman but Liv Morgan has beaten Rhea Ripley while she's part of the Judgment Day. Besides Liv, she has been untouchable. Nobody has been able to get a win over her. Liv has a claim that she can do that. There is history there. What else happened? She and Rhea were in the Women's Royal Rumble. They were the first two, and they were the final two. Rhea threw out Liv to win the Rumble. Reason why: Liv could have had a chance if she wasn't missed by Asuka. Now that could be a good side story for Liv going into the Elimination Chamber. That could be a great side story, and her want to get her redemption on the person that costed her the Elimination Chamber last year, well, this past year, and the Women's Royal Rumble, because of tactics. She was missed by Asuka in the Women's Royal Rumble, and she was put in a submission by Natalya and Asuka in the Elimination Chamber. So those are some different side stories you could potentially want to do going into Mania. But the focal point is her and Rhea. The story: she was put on the shelf by Rhea Ripley a couple months ago. Liv, when she comes back, she's going to want revenge. And think about it. Her coming back, winning the Rumble. And, the thing with Rhea Ripley, she's more kind of adjusting and kind of going into this face role, as people love her. You could do a double turn if you wanted to and have Liv Morgan turn heel. I think you could have Liv Morgan turn heel, because we've never seen Liv Morgan as a heel, as a singles competitor. We've seen her as a heel when she's part of the Riot Squad, but now as a singles competitor, and her motive is pretty much, she's tired of everybody, doubting her. She's tired of everybody overshadowing her, and she's going to take opportunities. She doesn't care what anybody thinks anymore. She's going to do what she wants to do. She's going to go into business for herself. And I think people can get behind that if you definitely amp it up. Like, I feel like they can, and they should, with the storyline and the video package that they could do this entire feud. You could easily make this a stipulation match, and I've been saying it. Maybe you make this a women's Hell in a Cell match for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania, because Rhea Ripley, she can lose, but you don't want to just cleanly lose. You kind of want some things that kind of be a factor in why she loses. Rhea Ripley could lose because Liv Morgan she uses the advantages of the Hell in a Cell, which are weapons like chairs, kendo sticks, tables. She, different things like that. She can use those to her advantage to ultimately get the win, and she wins the championship. And Rhea keeps looking strong in defeat because she didn't get pinned clean. She had to go through all these different weapons to end up losing her title. And then you built a new star in Liv Morgan because she's is a star that is ready to be made. She just needs a opportunity to get her there. So I feel like in the grand scheme of things, this is a great way for you to build a new star. In the because really she's been there, and a lot of people feel like she is definitely deserving to be at the top of the card, but she hasn't really got the opportunity that she should to be up there. And this is a great way to reintroduce her, give her a big win, create a good story because it's there between her and Rhea. You have a turn because people are going to want to cheer Rhea Ripley more than they might want to do Liv Morgan. It might be split. We don't know, but that is a case right there. Then ultimately you're making her champion because people want to see that for Liv Morgan fans, and also you're making a brand new star. That's how you do it. You give them a big moment. You put them in a good storyline. You have a reason for the storyline to happen, and then you pull the trigger and you can make a new star. I mean, there's different ways to make a star, but for Liv Morgan, this is a way to make her star, in my opinion. But that's the end of the video, you guys. Comment down below. Let me know, who do you guys think should defeat Rhea Ripley? Did you agree with a lot of the people that I named? Who would you want to see win the Royal Rumble? And who do you think should be the one to defeat Rhea Ripley more out of the people I've named? Leave it all down in the comment section down below. Make sure you super kick that like button. Make sure you Superman punch that post notification button and spear the subscribe button. We're on the road to 750 subscribers. I couldn't do it without all of you guys. I appreciate all the love and support. Also, I said earlier in the video, shout out to Hear These Thoughts. He mentioned me in this video. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. That made my day right there. And I'm gonna definitely try to tap in with you. We could do a video together. We'll see. But I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video.